Hello. Bl'Artagnan here with the Terse Turk, Rude Lost Chapter Lufenia. Bringing a team of Strago, Ignis, and 9, which features no synergy, no burst, and no friend unit. Exciting. Before we get into it, as always, please be sure to hit that like button, hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. Both are fairly small gestures that really go a long way to helping support the channel. So I appreciate it. This fight, it's the masked monks once again. They're still not as... Last time these guys showed up, they came on the heels of 3 infamous fights, namely the Reno event, the Sephiroth Heretics, and the Kirin Bears Lost Chapter. 3 of the most challenging fights we've kind of really ever had in the game. And so they were a bit of a relief when they showed up, and honestly, that's still kind of the case. This is not a terribly intensive fight. That being said, it can still trip you up. You got a sap orb at 80%, meaning you kind of nominally need to let these guys get a few turns. Certain zero-turn strategies notwithstanding. I'm looking at you, Clay. I saw what you did. But that's okay, because their turns aren't super threatening so long as you keep breaking them, because every time they take a turn, they get these yellow masks, which can become red masks, and they normally regen Brave when they have the white masks, but they regen Health when they have yellow, and I think they just kind of basically just fuck you up when they have the red mask, so you don't want that happening. So we're going ahead and breaking these guys once again. That right there is the probably the trickiest part of this fight, if you want to call it that. At 80 and 50%, and occasionally when they have the red masks up as well, they will apply a nasty frame debuff to you that prevents Brave gains of any kind, and also make you take increased damage. It's no good. And that's kind of something I took away from this fight, is it kind of proves the point I was making when I was talking about the Una fight, which is that without guaranteed debuffs, or whatever you want to call it, improved hit debuff, whatever, cleansers kind of become irrelevant, because why would you bring Una to her own burst cycle fight when you could just bring Ignis or Aerith and not even worry about the timing, you know? Because right now, if I had brought Una or Mog or Balthier or any cleanser in the game, there would have been a chance here that we'd have a few turns of Strago and 9 sitting here with this nasty debuff, not being able to do damage or whatever, taking more damage. But Ignis is sitting here and just like, okay, you're not taking any damage. So I guess that's why I am kind of glad that we have some guaranteed debuffs in the game. It makes characters like Una, like Sayador, have more of a niche. And I think that's a good thing. Good for the health of the game, making different characters useful and purposeful. Otherwise, things are going to get stale and boring. The other scary thing about this fight is that the orb can get a little out of hand if you're not careful. Once again, if you're like no-turning them and doing something crazy and elaborate, it's not going to be an issue, but I'm bringing Strago because it's a 3-target fight, and he loves 3-target fights. And these guys also occasionally benefit from being rebroken, and Strago does that too. The problem with Strago rebreaking is it pushes their turns back, and you're going to see the orb at different points is going to get kind of low because they delay themselves at different points during the fight. So just something to keep in mind. That's probably the biggest danger of the fight if you're able to, while you're once you've gotten past the debuff thing with a cleanser or immunity or something. But yeah, so Blue Strago continues to totally prove his worth. I'm really glad I blued him. He's just so much fun to play, and 9 has really been doing it for me as well lately. Love that offensive defensive kind of play style. So once these guys go below 50, they are going to delay themselves again, and they're going to jump straight to the red masks, along with trying to apply that nasty debuff that we're not going to let them get. So we're going to go ahead and use Ignis to both use a bunch of turns, which counts down the orb a bit, then jump ahead of them, which makes the orb go down even further. And the short version is I'm getting a little bit stressed out by all these turns that we're going to have to take before the orb has got a chance to tick up. Go ahead and reapply Sephiroth right there. Get those shields back up. Those shields have been super useful. if you keep these guys broken in white, they basically just pretty much spam a brave attack that you can just kind of tank and ignore. So it's not super scary, but you'll see here, they keep delaying themselves every time one of them goes below the threshold. So because that last one is going to do it again, I'm going to Grand Delta here, thinking like, okay, well, I'll break them, get them down to yellow so that I have time to re-break them. I let them unbreak and all that. The problem is, they're back to red because that last one wasn't there. And I realize that I'm in a bit of a pickle now because we have 7 turns left. So I have a trick up my sleeve to deal with this. Checking my buffs and junk, making sure everything's good. I'm going to summon because when you summon, weird things happen to the turn order. You saw all the turns we had, but now you can see we only have 2 turns to go before their turn comes up again. That's just a little trick you can use to get out of a tight situation when it comes to fights where you want the enemies to have occasional turns. You can just kind of summon and it'll eat up a bunch of turns that you had. Conversely, if you're trying to do some kind of 0 boss turn delay, push them into Oblivion strat, I recommend saving the summon for right before they would go, because otherwise you're going to lose a bunch of the turns that you had kind of stashed up. Just another thing to keep in mind. We're once again making them delay themselves, which is not helping my mental state. That's the last thing they do, is once they go below 30, they put up a shield similar to the one they put up at, I want to say 70. We just kind of breezed past that one, so I didn't have a chance to talk about it. But that's okay. 5 turns left on the orb. I think we're going to be okay, provided Ignis doesn't do anything stupid. And by that I mean I'm just going to use a Brave Pastry, because I don't have time for that. Refresh our shields. Take some HP damage, scary stuff. They're once again letting the orb tick up. And as much as I would love to, like, do anything other than what I'm about to do here, all we can really do is HP attack and refresh Sage Fire, because they're scary. The orbs are counting up and stuff. There we go. Now we have a bit more time to work with. Breaking them out of order here, although I'm a little bit nervous about their turn stacking up like that. And so I am actually going to Grand Delta to make sure they're not about to take a bunch of turns in a row and jump to red mask status. So we have 5 turns left. Time for a quick recipe. Keeping that. And we're not going to use the EX, even though it's right there, because we want to let them act. We're not fools here. We're not letting them sneak that orb up on us. Love how beefy 9 shields get late in the fight once he's properly ramped up. Alright, there we go. They got him right where we want him. Hit that free Quasar. So much damage. Love to see it. I think each of those hits was just short of 300,000 damage, so that's like a lot of damage. I'm no mathematician, but I don't know. Strago, my goodness. It's kind of absurd. Anyway, they're heroes at max stacks. They have 13 turns. I think we got this, guys. I mean, Faris, because we have been hitting pretty dinky numbers with their defense spiking. But it's okay. Go ahead and regroup to get battery of the party before we overwhelm them. This was dumb. I should have brought 9, because then I could have rebroken them with Strago after if I wanted to. But instead I put Strago in front, and so now the rebreak doesn't actually do anything. I mean, it does. It still pushes them back, but I could have pushed them back an extra turn there. Just a little bit of improvement I could have made to my play. So they're going to get tougher here, because their friend's gone. They're going to use the first kata. It's no good. I'm going to go ahead and just waste this launch. 1 brave damage in the air. Good job, Ignis. We're all getting close. Probably going to give them an extra turn before we're done, but yeah. As you can see, this fight wasn't super duper threatening. Strago makes quick work of it. Didn't need a friend unit, didn't need a burst, didn't need synergy, none of that stuff. The one tricky part is the debuff, really, and of course managing the orb, but that's basics, you know, Sap Orb 101 kind of stuff. But kind of nice to have a fight with mechanics that you do need to be mindful of, but that don't feel oppressively punishing. That said, I brought a debuff immunity character. If I'm gonna try not using one in my next fight, and we'll see how that goes. Finishes off the style. There we go. Nice job, Ignis. There we have it. Rude Lost Chapter. No synergy, no burst, no friend. No worries. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Adios.